I'd like to introduce to you our speaker for today, Ann Taggart, who is coming to us from an organization called Help Our Kids that she's going to tell us more about. And Betty is the one who introduced us to Ann. So thank you, Betty, for bringing Ann to us.
Oh.
Ann, take it away.
Okay. Help Our Kids is a nonprofit organization focused on providing children in foster care a more normal growing up experience. We provide things for kids in care that DCF and or foster parents are not able to provide in an effort to help these children reach their full potential. So we provide things like music, art, dance lessons, sports equipment, things like bikes or hockey gear. We've provided swimming lessons. Recently, we helped provide bedding and some other necessities to a young adult who's moving into a first apartment. We have a number of programs. One of the programs we have is called Fitting for the Future. Every April, until COVID got in the way, we've hosted an event called Fitting for the Future. We provide teens in the foster care system with formal wear so they can attend a prom or graduation or some other formal occasion. We also provide them with shoes, jewelry, and accessories. So the kids come in at an assigned time and they're given a personal shopper to help them pick out dresses or suits. And then they get their hair done and they get their makeup done and they have a professional photo taken. And at the end, they walk down a runway to applause. It's really a very special day. And we have some great pictures on our website if you want to try and get a sense of that event. We're not, unfortunately, going to be able to have it again this year, but we're looking forward to having it next April. We also have a pen pal program where we match a volunteer with a child in foster care who's in need of connection, a child that may not have any family or anybody that visits them. Often those children are on the adoption track. The volunteer writes letters and cards and acknowledges birthdays and holidays and sends maybe some small care packages. And hopefully the child will write back and then the two will be able to form some sort of a meaningful connection. Finally, we have a program called Trash Bags to Duffel Bags. Children in foster care often get moved without any notice, and sometimes they just have the clothes on their backs. We provide duffels filled with personal care items to children who are moved into foster care so they don't have to move with their belongings in trash bags. We also furnish children with blankets and stuffed animals. Often these children have very little that they can call their own. So a stuffed doll or a blanket has great meaning for them and can provide comfort during a difficult time. We've recently been providing DCF with worry eater dolls to give to children upon entering care. I know Joyce sent some pictures around. They come in a bunch of varieties, but mainly they're silly looking animals with a zipper for a mouth. Children write or draw their worries and put them in the zippered pockets so that the doll can, quote unquote, eat their worries away. These are very popular with the children, and they're also popular with their social workers and treatment providers. And so we've had trouble keeping enough of them in stock. And so this is where you all come in. We're hoping that you'll help us make some worry eater dolls. There's some patterns for making them online, and I think I provided you all with a pattern, but you can really do what you want with them. I see that Joyce put up a bunch of different ones. I think they're all pretty adorable. The pattern that I provided, I think, could use some help. It's not terribly cute in my opinion, but so that's where we are. Do people have questions?
Betty's making a blanket too. So Betty, do you want to show us your blanket?
Yeah. So, I don't know if I'm on the screen.
Yes, you are.
I see.
Okay. Yeah. So,
Ooh. Like you. Is that crochet, Betty?
Yes, it's crocheted. So I found out about Help Our Kids when I was on the welcome blanket. One of the women was crocheting a blanket, and so she told me about Help Our Kids, and I connected with Silka. And then when I mentioned it to Joyce into the bees, Joyce jumped right on it and spoke with Silka, who contacted Anne. So, Anne, I appreciate you, being on the call with us and giving us more information. And I'm looking forward to the bees, contributing.
Well, we are too. And, thank you for what you've done up to this point. Appreciate it. They're special. A lot of the blankets and things that we get are handmade. And so each one's different. And that's special for a child to have something that's so personally made.
Right. And sorry, Betty, I accidentally turned off your video.
Oh, no, that's okay. So, Anne, you had mentioned that with the worry dolls that do you need, like paper and writing implements?
I think that, go ahead, Betty, I'm sorry.
Yeah, when I spoke to Silka, she had said that she had mentioned the blankets, and I said, well, I can easily do that because I started recrocheting again about 1.5 years ago. So, so I had no issues with, just doing the blankets because it keeps my hands busy. But she mentioned the worry dolls, and I said, "Oh God, I'm not into." I said, "I'm not into that." But if Joyce helps us along, I'm okay with it. And Joyce knows that I don't like to sew zippers, but I'll give it a try. And Silke had also mentioned about the formal wear, for the prom, and and she also mentioned books and toys for ages. I think it was like 2 to 12 or 3 to 12. So there were other things besides just the blankets that the bees can make, and also the worry dolls. So if people wanted to go out and purchase even the duffel bags, so the kids would have something to put their belongings in versus trash bags. So maybe there's duffel bags that that we can make for the kids also, Joyce.
That's certainly a good idea too. Let me ask you a couple questions, Anne.
Sure.
The geographic area that you serve, you're out in the west?
We serve the western. So Springfield, Greenfield. I actually live on Cape Cod. I'm not as familiar with all of those areas, but it's the western area, all of the western part of Massachusetts.
Right. And I know in the conversations that I had earlier with you all, there are other services similar to yours in the Boston area?
There are some. Yes, there is a nonprofit. I think actually Governor Baker's wife, Lauren Baker, is involved with one of them that also does similar work.
Since you live on Cape Cod, how did you get connected with this organization?
So Norin Resnick, who founded this organization, and I met when we are both currently and were then volunteers for the Department of Children and Families in their foster care review unit. So we are community volunteers that sit on a panel that review kids cases of kids in foster care. Every child in foster care needs to have their case reviewed every 6 months in an attempt to make sure that children don't languish in foster care. It's a federal and state reg. So we continue to still do that. And there used to be a big meeting of all foster care reviewers and volunteers, and that's how we met and connected around this.
Great. And so obviously you're seeing a need out in Western Mass that just was not being fulfilled.
Absolutely. There's a lot more programming that happens in the Boston area. There's a huge need in Western Massachusetts.
Great.
Yes.
So we're helping to support these kids who are sometimes yanked out of bad situations and just at the drop of a hat wind up moving.
Exactly.
With, as you said, only the clothes on their back and sometimes some miscellaneous bits and pieces in a
Correct.
bag. And so any little gift, any little thing that they can call their own becomes very important to them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit more about the function of these worry eater dolls. What's the idea behind them and how are they used with the children?
Well, I think that I read somewhere that they were actually fashioned after the Guatemala worry dolls that are put under the pillows. I don't know if you're familiar with those.
So right here. Come to me. Now, I haven't even looked at these in a long, long time.
Huh.
What Nana told me was these represent your family and you keep them safe because your family is always there for you even when they're not there. Okay, here we go. Let's see. So I keep them in a little bag. Now she gave them to me in this very special little quilted bag. There's another thing you can do, right? So there's this very cool little, okay, and inside, they're tiny. See? Wait a minute. There we go. That's one. That's one of them.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And like I said, I haven't even looked at these forever because I know they're there. I know where they are. I always know they're there. And that gives me a sense of belonging. And that's the key right there, because it gives you that sense of belonging.
And how were those used? I think I actually had some of those for my daughter when she was little, but I can't remember. Did they stick the one in the pocket? It had to do with putting it under your pillow. I remember that.
Yeah, you can put it under your pillow. Because I was a Navy brat and mobile. All right. So I kept them somewhere special and a hidden place, because I couldn't keep them with me. So I knew that when I came back, they would be there because I hid them. And they're inconsequential. Nobody would want to steal this. That's the other thing.
So I also have Guatemalan worry dolls. It says, according to the legend, Guatemalan children tell one worry to each doll when they go to bed at night, like you said, and place the dolls under their pillows. In the morning, the dolls have taken their worries away. And I have a little bag that they fit into.
Oh, you got one too, yeah.
And I'll show you different dolls. They almost look like matchsticks.
Yeah, that's exactly what mine look like. Exactly, yeah.
And
same thing.
Here's 3 more. I have 5 of them.
Let me see. I don't know how I got 1, 2.
I have
3,
1, 2, and
4. Oops.
This one. Can you see? And this one. They look like matches, little matches, and they all have skirts, plaid skirts.
Oh, they yours have plaid skirts. Mine don't have plaid skirts.
Plaid skirts. I'm sorry.
Okay. 1, 2. Wait. Oh, where's my camera?
So I keep them in here. My kids brought them to me because they lived in Mexico, and Guatemala is really close, and they sell these things there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a stick with some thread wrapped around it, basically.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I asked the question was that I saw on a UK site that they were encouraging the children to write down their worries and put the folded piece of paper into the pocket.
Exactly.
The doll. And that then gave clues to the adults on how to help the children. So it's not,
right.
When the child puts it in the pocket, it's not totally private. It's there for the adult to read. And I wasn't sure if that was a good idea or a bad idea.
I think it's dependent on the situation. But I think that, like I said, I think it's dependent on the situation and who has, what the discussion has been with the child about the doll and the purpose. I think sometimes it's very helpful to have some clues about what might be going on for the kid, especially with treatment providers and the social workers. So hopefully, I would hope that might be something that's discussed though before that, that is.
Personally, I feel like that's an invasion of privacy. I mean, the whole reason.
Right. It depends on the child and the situation. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
As you've seen, there's such a wide variety of these things. It's not so much about the object, it's about the story and the communication that you establish with the child about this. And I think the idea is great. We all have worries, and these little children have a lot of instability in their lives. And we're trying to give them some way of dealing with all those worries when nobody can assure them that everything's going to be okay. Nobody can assure them where they're going to live tomorrow. But at least you can open a conversation with them so that they don't just store it up inside. And how if you store your worries inside and don't talk about them, it'll eat you up.
Right. And so that I think is, when kids at least express them, even through drawing, if they're too young, or don't have the ability to write yet, just expressing their worries is helpful, and putting them away, getting them out of themselves and into something else, putting them out of themselves into something else is helpful.
Right. So I actually made one last night. And
oh, you did?
Oh, of course, Joyce.
All of you guys in mind. And this is the picture that I've been sharing. I showed you a few minutes ago a number of worry dolls that are on the internet. And a lot of them were from the UK and so forth. And zippers for mouths seems to be a popular theme. So I actually got us a whole set of 5-inch zippers. I think I got 60 for $10.
Wow. Oh, that's great.
All different colors of 5-inch zippers. And so I thought I would make them. And as Ann said, she shared with me the pattern that they give to their volunteers, which is really more like a pillow.
Yeah, I think it could use some improvement, like I said. So one of our volunteers created that pattern. But I think that it needs some cutening up. If I had made your pattern, and I did not, I actually did a little bit more. But the pattern that she had, but just to show you, you can go from simple to elegant. Her simple pattern is actually like just the head and body of this doll. Take off the arms and legs. It has no arms and legs. It's more like a pillow, and it's wider
So it's really more the shape of a pillow, and it has a pocket, but it does not use a zipper. So
Joyce, what size would you say these are?
Well, I'll show you what I made. And again, there's nothing magic about this particular configuration. You can do your own thing. But what I made up last night was you cut a face, a body, and a back. Okay, and this is where we're going to put the zipper, which is why this is in 2 pieces. And it's a little longer than the back because we're going to lose some inches when we do this, right? So, and then 2 pieces for the mouth. So I did 6.5 inches wide. I think your pattern is 8.5 inches wide and 10 inches long. So you can see it's more pillow shape than body shape. So anyway, and you can use any fabrics, but maybe you want something fairly plain because this is going to be the face. We're going to decorate this to be the face. Okay, so that's what you need for pieces. And then, so then you attach one of those mouthpieces to the body and one of those mouthpieces to the face, and then iron it flat and fold it here so that right at this edge, we're going to have a nice sharp crease and we're going to iron that.
So the finished product would be like, what, 5 inches by, that's how big it would be?
It could be like a large oven mitt, Zia.
Yeah, a large oven mitt is a good idea. I'll show you again, but yeah, it's about 8 inches long. You know, a piece of paper is 8.5 inches wide. So a piece of paper is 8 by 10, 8.5 by 10.
Oh, so they're pretty big, huh?
Okay, so what I did was then with my pieces where I have the body piece and the mouth piece together, and I sewed those together so I have a sharp edge, and now I'm going to take that combination and sew it to one side of the zipper, and then put the headpiece on the other side of the zipper, and that's all there is to it. So while it's flat, this is really easy to do.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, and you use your zipper foot so that you can get relatively close to the zipper.
Much easier to work with than the teeny itsy bitsy Rory dolls that I have. Wow. Exactly. I don't know how they did those. Wow.
So now while it's nice and flat, we can do things fairly easily. So this is a good time to add facial features too. Here's what they suggested. So if you figure the zipper is the mouth, then we need some sort of eyes, nose, whatever you want to put up here. These are some of the suggestions that Anne had sent me. And so what I did was just to applique some eyes onto it. And I actually forgot to do this until my doll was together, and it's a lot trickier once the doll is together. So I recommend doing it now. Okay, and then I prepared some arms and legs, and this was me eyeballing it, okay? There's nothing magic about this. You can do it yourself, but you can see you put 2 pieces of fabric together, you sew most of the way around it, leave the attachment to the body end of it open so that you can turn it and stuff it, and you'll stuff each appendage. And what I did was I used a pencil, and a pencil is a good tool for this because the eraser will sort of grab onto the fluff. So you take one little bit of fluff and you stuff it down there with the pencil. And it didn't take me very long at all. I was watching TV while I did it. It was fun. So I've stuffed the arms and legs. So the legs are a little longer, a little wider than the arms, but that's about all the magic there is to it. Okay, and then I'm going to attach these appendages to the body. So if this is the mouth, the arms are a little bit below the mouth, right? Below the neck, so to speak. This guy doesn't really have a neck, but that's all right. And you can see I've got them pinned in place, and I'm actually going to sew along here so that they're firmly in place and they're not going to wiggle around when I put the rest of it together. Okay. And I put the legs a little bit in from the sides, about an inch in from the side. And once I have all those appendages, and you see they're all inside of this sandwich. All the appendages are inside the sandwich. And I've pinned that around and I've sewed it all the way around and left an opening here between the legs. It actually wasn't big enough, so I wound up ripping that back a little bit to give my hand more room to get in there. And then I'll trim these corners and turn it and stuff it. And as I was stuffing it, I was holding this mouth pocket down. Oh, and I forgot to say, but before you turn it, you want to sew the bottom of this mouth pocket because it was 2 pieces of material. And I think I had that on the previous slide. I just didn't mention it. And there it is. So there's my little doll, and then
Adorable.
You could add some clothing. You could, do a little more embroidery, whatever you want to do with it. But they're cute and they're not difficult. I did that in about an hour and a half.
Wow, that's great. Really cute.
So I think the zipper mouth is really neat. So if you open that up, there's orange on the inside, and so it's kind of cute and inviting. But it's not a great masterpiece. It's not anything you have to fuss too much over. Just make them unique and
right.
This child can call their own. Right?
Can I show you this one?
Sure.
Oh, that's a big one. Wow.
This I got over at the senior center. It's a kit from England. I bought it fully assembled and reworked it a little bit. I reattached the head. I added more stuffing. I put these eyelashes on and gave it more of a mouth and added hair. But it came like this. Now, what I was looking at the construction last night. Now, this is knit, and it's very much like what Joyce just showed us. They knit the body. They knit these legs, right? Each appendage, and stuff them and then attach them. I love this, whatever it is they knit it with. And that's about it. It's pretty simple. I like the idea. It's the same construction though that Joyce just showed us, the body and the legs.
Sure. Very. And that's cute ideas for hair too.
Yeah. This was something. These are actually for real people, believe it or not. And I just had a little bit extra, so I added it.
That's hair. Yeah, that's cute. So, and I know in some of the conversations we had about blankets, you all were saying that the blankets should be gender neutral because you never know if you're going to need one for a boy or a girl.
Exactly.
Dolls, if we make it a little girl doll with a skirt or a boy doll with a vest or something like that, what would you say?
I think gender neutral for the dolls is probably good too. You can add whatever you want. You can put skirts. I mean, boys, things are getting less and less gender specific generally. So I think whatever you do will, a child will love it. It will be theirs. And that's what's really important. And it will be part, what's important is that you put some of yourself into whatever you create, and a child will recognize that.
And I also know that Silka had mentioned that with our blankets, we should write a little note, and sign, not give out our last names. So, just to note that, I haven't come up with anything for the blankets that I've made, but, just to let them know that we cared enough that we made this blanket specifically for them, and just sign it, from Betty.
Right. Exactly. I think that's perfect.
Yeah, and so blankets of any size are welcome. And
Yes.
as far as the label goes, we have those labels that say "Made with Love" by the Brookline Bees, and you could just put your name on it, and then they can add the name of the child too, "Made with Love for Johnny" or whatever. And so I think that'll work well.
That's great.
I just wanted to reiterate, these things should all be washable.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've been focusing on making useful quilts that'll survive the washing machine, and that's always a good goal. And that's a good goal for the dolls as well. If you use things like felt for the eyes, it's less washable, by the way. So
yeah,
better to applique something. Cotton.
It's got a little suede on it. I wouldn't add suede personally because it doesn't wash.
Stick with the cotton materials and not felt.
Well, you guys all know your stuff. This is stuff I would never have thought of.
Well,
it's been very helpful for me to learn this stuff.
Thank you to you and your partner for what you're doing. People like you, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you guys for helping us out.
Pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to us, being creative.
If you want some more information about us, I would encourage you to go to our website, which has a lot of information about some of the stuff I spoke about earlier. The website is www.HelpOurKids Inc, all one word, .org. And if you'd like to be you can join our network. There's a on the website, there's something that says, oh, you've got it up.
Oh, yeah.
Get in touch. If you click on Get in Touch, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 over, you can click on that and there it is, join our network. You can click to join our network. It'll ask you probably for your email address.
Yeah.
And we send things out, updates on what kinds of work we've been doing. Sometimes we'll ask for specifics. If we're in need of a bicycle, somebody, might have a very slightly used bike that they could donate or would be willing to donate some money or whatever. So those are the things that joining the network would keep you involved in that kind of information from us.
Boy, that duffel bag thing, that is so real. I'll tell you, having to haul your things in a trash bag is just demoralizing.
It is terribly demoralizing, and it happens more than you'd like to know. Thank you all so very much. And let me know if you have any questions. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Have a good
day. You too. Bye-bye.
And enjoy the Cape.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.